obviously there's no way that you started out small, got to big without any, uh, any obstacles, any huge losses. Like, I mean, I'm assuming. I mean,
Yeah.
what are some times where like, if you can think back specifically to times where like other people would have quit?
Yeah, so there's one specifically that I had that I'll never forget. So when I bought a home in Las Vegas when I was 20 from poker winnings,
Dang.
and yeah, there was things were going good,
Let's
and it was
go.
right after the real estate market crashed too. So I got like a sweet deal. I was living
Oh,
large.
yeah.
It was amazing, and then it kind of went to my head too early, right? Because I'm in my early 20s. I dropped out. I have a house. I think I'm doing awesome, and I feel like you really don't respect money or like the fact that it can go badly. And I just wasn't focused, and I was, in Vegas partying and just, kind of being in my very early 20s, which is a totally fine time to do that kind of stuff. But slowly I was losing a lot of my money, and I wasn't focused on the poker playing. And then by the time it kind of got back to it, I had lost most of my money. And then right when that happened, Black Friday happened, which is what banned online poker in the US. So I lost legitimately 99% of my liquid bankroll. I think I went from something like 400K or 300K, something like that, to like 3K or 4K.
Whoa.
I lost almost everything.
And that was
Holy
just like a
shit.
slow burn that you like just didn't realize, or
Oh, well, the first chunk was definitely reckless spending, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then there was certainly some games that I shouldn't have played in that were too big, and some lessons were learned, right? Sometimes you had to, like I was doing stupid stuff. Like I bought this really nice set of golf clubs. I don't play golf. I still don't.
Yeah.
I never did. Had some clubs though, and I
Yeah.
would just do stuff like that, right? And it was before I met my wife, and the girl I was dating at the time was an expensive habit as well. So anyway, the point is, like, I went through all of these learning experiences to improve my life and fix things. But by the time I kind of came out of that whirlwind, I was, had lost almost everything. And I kind of like just set myself back to like, what am I good at? I know I'm good at heads up. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to lock in. And I kind of gave myself like a runway. If I can't, in the next 6 months, if I can't make this happen, then like we're going to go a different direction. Because the thing is, like, the problem in the gambling world is people can become delusional, and it's okay to try and fail. But then if this is not going to work out, then I should go back to school, and I should get my poli-sci degree that I'd been working on for a little bit. And I should try and become like, I should find a viable path. Right.
Yeah.
And even though like it had gone well until all these other mistakes, it would still be, I don't want to become delusional. Right. I want to make sure I'm going on a viable path. So I said, okay, I'm going to give everything I got. I'm going to pack up my stuff. I'm driving to Vancouver, because online poker is legal in Vancouver. I'm going to get there, and I'm just going to go as hard as I possibly can. And I got there, and I remember like right out of the gate, I was backed by one of my buddies who put up the money for me to play.
so just real fast to set the stakes. So you bought a house, you have 400K. Next thing you know, you're down to $3,000 roughly.
Yeah.
Did you have a mortgage that you had to pay on that, or was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I imagine
Yeah.
that was a couple $1,000s or something. So you're basically like almost upside down.
Yeah, I'm on the absolute rope. I have a spreadsheet somewhere with this where I have all of the numbers, and they're gritty. Occasionally I'll go back and look at
I'm
it.
sorry to interrupt, but like just for everyone at home to like actually like understand the stakes of like,
Yeah.
I only, like, you probably only have a few weeks left of actually of liquid money to live off of
Yeah.
before you start, not having enough money to pay your mortgage. And so
Mortgage.
now you drive up there and you start playing online.
Right. Yeah, I guess I knew it was bad, but as you're saying it, maybe I did not appreciate how bad it was.
Yeah.
He's like, so you're a fucking degenerate, right? Just everyone knows, everyone at home knows he's a degenerate. Okay, carry on, Doug. Carry on.
There's a specific term for this, and I suffer from this as well. It's called optimistic delusion. I'm a
okay.
delusional optimist, right? And so you can be I mean, look, if you're going to be delusional, it's better to be a delusional optimist than a delusional pessimist.
I agree with that
right?
entirely.
So at that age, you're not capable of really understanding what's at stake.
Right.
But what is at stake, mathematically speaking, if you don't make more money and if you lose any more, you're going to lose your house, or you're going to have to go start borrowing, but you're going to be upside down.
Yeah.
I was going to be on the ropes. I probably had a couple of friends that knew I was a good poker player that could, would front me for a bit. But I was clearly, I was clearly on the ropes, like
Yeah.
obviously on the ropes. So I knew when I was driving up there with all my stuff in the trunk, this has to work.
Did you sell your place, or were you?
No, I had my place still. Like if it came down to it, I could sell it. But you know, I it was my home base. It was where I had my things. It was like,
So you just had it. So you just went on vacation, basically.
I went on vacations. Yeah, I guess we can call it vacation.
Did you just buy your house cash, or did you have to pay a mortgage and stuff?
There's something called a wraparound mortgage. Basically, he carries stuff, but we have an agreement that if I pay it off, it becomes mine and it's somehow held by a third party. I don't exactly know the whole. The bottom line is this: I gave him $50K. I got a house.
Yeah.
And it was a sweet house in Las Vegas, and that's like how I kind of got started. But yeah, I still had the house, so if it really came down to it, I could sell that and I could use that to move forward. But the point is, if I'm struggling, I'm not going to just spend my life struggling. I'm going to find something I'm good at. And while poker went well at the time, and I'm going to give this 100,000% for 6 months. And if I can't do it, I'm going to move on, because you can't just. Sometimes your heart and your head are in different places. In my heart, I believed, and in my head, I thought I did. But I also didn't want to become one of those people where, you know, you get older and you know, they're delusional and they're losing their money on gambling and various things, and they have a problem, right? Like, I'm not going to let myself get to that point. So packed my stuff up, moved to Vancouver, and I remember the first day I said, we're throwing down. Okay, I'm going to buy in for $100 games online, and I'm going to play it for as many hours as I can possibly see the screen. And I threw like a 30-hour session out of the gate. And I basically doubled my bankroll on day one. I just won like buying after buying after buying after buying after buying on all these different sites. And then within a couple of weeks, I had run up like, you know, 25, 50,000. Within a few months, I'd run up $250,000. And then I was playing like high stakes online in like 4, 5, 6 months, because kind of went back to what we were talking about earlier. I just picked that one game.
Oh, so this was all heads up.
All heads up. I realized something on the drive up there. A lot of hours to think driving from Vegas to Vancouver. I realized something, that I was hopping around and doing all these things thinking I was like so good and everything. I was 21, 22 and I had a bunch of money. But the reality was I had only really been winning in one format. I'd been winning in heads up very consistently. And I had mistaken that for being talented in all these other things like tournaments and ring cash games. And I wasn't actually that good at those things. Like maybe I could be if I tried, but that's not where I'm truly excellent. Where I'm excellent is heads up poker, because that's it plays to all of my strengths. And so, you know, when I got there, I'm like, I'm only playing this game now. I'm playing nothing else. And I played that all the way up. $100 games, 200, 400, 600, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 40. And I just, over the next year, you know, I went from like
insane.
Yeah, it was honestly, looking back, it's crazy. It's completely insane.
So you just climbed the ladder, basically. You're like,
I basically beat everybody. And then there were two guys at the top of the list. So just so you understand how heads up works. Oh man, this is like such flashbacks now. Basically, there's like a pecking order in heads up online, where if you think you're the 10th best player, you're not going to play the 5th, because you would start with the 9th, right? Because if you play the 5th and you beat him, well, you get to choose who you play. So if you beat the 5th best guy, now the 7th is like, I'm not playing him. He just beat the 5th best guy.
Yeah.
So you try to go in order.
How sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Because I don't even know the answer to this question. I'm sure other people might want to know too. How does the pecking order, is it by who's winning the most? Like how is that actually like laid out?
It's not, and this is actually an issue poker has compared to, you know, NFL, NBA, like real sports. There's no officially sanctioned real ranking, right? Like we have things we use, like we like Hendon Mob is the site that tracks winnings, but it's just
But it doesn't track all the winnings.
It tracks every cash, but not buy-ins. So you're not actually seeing someone's results in terms of how much they're making. You're just seeing what their like gross. Basically, it would be like if, you know, you showed someone your restaurant's financials and you only sent them gross revenue with no expenses.
Yeah.
It might be going amazing. It might be going, you know.
Yeah, but
you know, as the
yeah,
business
if you're
owner.
doing $1 million a year in sales, but $1,000,001 in expenses, you're not doing very well.
Not doing too
Yeah.
well. So it's like that with Hendon Mob, or you know, there's different things that you can look at to get that data. But with heads up, it's kind of just public perception, or like the perception of the higher ranked people, because you kind of know where you are. Like there are only so many tables you can sit online, and so there's going to be scuffles. Like
And there's only so many dudes at that level who are playing that money.
So if someone wants a table, because if you have the table, you can play bad players. So if you're sitting at a table and a better player joins or a worse player joins, you're going to look at him and you're going to think, am I better than that guy? And you're like, if you're better, like, okay, I'll play. And if you put your blind out, then he knows that you think you're better than him. This is like almost like high school drama.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is fascinating. I had no idea of this, like this part of poker.
Right.
This is all online.
All online.
You're able to see each other?
Yeah, you see the screen name. So you would know, and then you kind of know who the groups are. Like my biggest rivals were always the Swedes. For some reason, I would battle it out with the Swedes because like they were super aggressive and I was super aggressive. So we would have like these crazy aggressive wild matches. I remember some of these sessions. There's one guy, his name was Will Hassa online, or Dino King, and we would have these sick like 15, 20-hour high stakes battles. In 2015, 15, I won the biggest pot in online poker of any pot. And I think it was like 400 or 500K or something in just one hand.
Wow.
Where I had aces and he had kings.
And it was pre?
And it was on pre, yeah. And
Wow.
I held. It was incredible. But we'd have these just monster wild sessions where like we would just lock in and play for 16 hours. There'd be hundreds of thousands swinging. He'd always be taking smoke breaks. I like it when my opponent's taking smoke breaks. I just feel good about the situation, you know? Like anytime's like, oh, you need a cigarette. You're like, probably doing good in this match. Anyway, so yeah, like to go back to the story though, I ran it back up. And, I at some point pretty early on, I paid the guy back who gave me the money to play. And then I ran up a ton of money and I started investing it. And then everything from there went incredible. But the second time around, you look back and you think, I saw all of the mistakes I made, and I'm so grateful now to not be in that position anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I will not make those mistakes again because, look, like life will sometimes really beat you up, but if you can take that and learn from it and improve who you are and make better fundamental decisions about the way that you organize things and structure your life, in this case financially, then you can make sure that you're not in that same risky position again. And I made sure to do that. And then when I did transition to other games, I did it in a responsible, professional manner rather than just like, oh, I'll play this tournament, I'll do this. Like I had to learn that and then come back stronger.